was Harold Shipman, and could anyone have predicted the dark path he would tread? This is the question that haunts the minds of those who delve into the enigma that is Harold Shipman. Harold Frederick Shipman, known to many as Dr. Shipman, was a respected figure in the medical community of the United Kingdom. Born in 1946, Shipman was raised in a working-class family in Nottingham. His mother Vera instilled in him an appreciation for hard work and an ambition for success. Despite the hardships of his early life, Shipman was a bright student, showing a particular interest in biology. He was drawn to the intricacies of the human body and the power of healing. This fascination led him to a career in medicine. He studied at the Leeds School of Medicine and graduated in 1970, embarking on a career that would span almost 30 years. His journey into medicine seemed normal, almost predictable. He was a dedicated practitioner, known for his meticulous attention to detail and his commitment to his patients. He built a reputation as a reliable, trustworthy doctor in the small town of Hyde, Greater Manchester, where he served the community for many years. However, there was more to Dr. Shipman than met the eye. Beneath his professional demeanor and the respectability of his medical practice, there lay a chilling reality. As the years passed, odd patterns and unexplained deaths began to emerge. Suspicion began to swirl around the good doctor, and the community he served would soon discover a horrifying truth. Shipman, the trusted doctor, the man who had pledged to protect life, was unmasked as one of the most prolific serial killers in history. His weapon of choice was not a knife or a gun, but the very medicine he had sworn to use for healing. But beneath this facade of respectability lay a sinister secret. A secret that would shock the world and leave an indelible mark on the history of true crime. What happened when Dr. Shipman's patients began to die mysteriously? In the quiet town of Hyde, Greater Manchester, Dr. Harold Shipman was a respected figure. Known for his dedication and compassion, his patients trusted him implicitly. But beneath this facade of respectability, a sinister plot was unfolding. Dr. Shipman's crimes began subtly, almost imperceptibly. His patients, mostly elderly women who lived alone, started passing away. These were not sudden, shocking deaths, but quiet departures that seemed to fit the narrative of old age. The town mourned, but no one questioned. After all, death is an inevitable companion to old age. However, unbeknownst to the town, these were not natural deaths. Dr. Shipman had discovered a deadly ally in diamorphine, a powerful drug used for pain relief. A lethal dose of this drug, administered by the trusted hands of their doctor, was snuffing out the lives of his patients. These were not mercy killings, nor were they random acts of violence. These were cold, calculated actions, carried out with a chilling precision. Dr. Shipman would visit his patients at their homes, administer the fatal dose, and then leave, his demeanor as calm and composed as ever. The choice of victims added another layer to his deception. By targeting elderly women, Dr. Shipman was playing into societal expectations. These women were in the twilight of their lives. Their deaths, though tragic, were not unexpected. But what was the motive behind these heinous acts? Was it a perverse sense of power, a twisted enjoyment in playing God, or was there something more? The answers to these questions are as elusive as the man himself. As the death toll rose, so did the whispers of suspicion, but they were quickly dismissed. After all, who could believe that a doctor, a healer, could be capable of such atrocities? No one suspected the beloved doctor was behind these deaths, and so the deception continued, the trust of a town betrayed by one of its own. How did Shipman's perfect crime begin to unravel? The narrative starts to shift when a local undertaker, an unsung hero in this grim tale, started to notice a pattern. He observed an unusually high number of deaths among Shipman's patients. More alarmingly, many of these deceased patients were found sitting up, fully clothed, or seemingly in the middle of daily activities, which was not common in natural deaths. The undertaker's suspicion was the first chink in Shipman's armor of deception. This led to a series of events that started to cast a dark shadow over the respected doctor's reputation. The local undertaker took his concerns to the police, but initially, they were dismissed due to lack of evidence. However, the seed of suspicion had been sown. A few months later, the daughter of one of Shipman's deceased patients, a lawyer herself, raised concerns about the sudden and unexpected death of her mother. She found it strange that her mother had been found dead, seated in her living room, just hours after a visit from Dr. Shipman. She also questioned why her mother's will had been hastily changed, leaving the majority of her estate to Shipman. Her suspicion led to the exhumation of her mother's body and a subsequent post-mortem examination. The examination revealed lethal doses of diamorphine, a powerful drug, in her system. This was the evidence the police needed. The investigation that followed was exhaustive and meticulous. The police looked into the medical records of Shipman's patients, and as they dug deeper, they found a chilling pattern. Many of Shipman's patients had died shortly after his visits, and in several cases there were traces of diamorphine in their systems. This was the breakthrough the police needed. In September of 1998, Shipman was arrested on suspicion of murder. The beloved doctor, the pillar of the community, was now a prime suspect in a series of horrifying crimes. The truth about Dr. Shipman was far more horrifying than anyone could have imagined. What happened when Harold Shipman was brought to justice? As the gavel fell, the courtroom held its breath. The trial of Harold Shipman was a chilling revelation of the depths to which a trusted medical professional had sunk. As the details of his horrific actions emerged, the nation, and indeed the world, was shocked to its core. The trial was a stark, grim spectacle. Prosecutors meticulously laid bare the extent of Shipman's crimes, painting a harrowing portrait of a man who had turned his medical practice into a personal hunting ground. One by one, the victims were named, their lives reduced to tragic footnotes in a larger, darker narrative. The sheer number was staggering, dwarfing the body counts of other infamous killers. Every day of the trial brought a fresh wave of horror and disbelief. The man who had sworn an oath to do no harm had instead caused unimaginable suffering, exploiting the trust and vulnerability of those who had turned to him for help. The evidence was irrefutable, and the verdict, when it came, was unanimous. Harold Shipman was found guilty on 15 counts of murder and 1 count of forgery. The sentence was swift and severe, life imprisonment with no possibility of parole. The judge's words echoed in the silent courtroom, a damning indictment of the man who had so callously abused his power. The trusted doctor, once a pillar of the community, was now a convicted murderer. His reputation was shattered, his legacy forever tarnished. But the trial was just the beginning. In the aftermath, the full extent of Shipman's actions came to light. Investigations revealed hundreds of suspicious deaths, all linked to Shipman. The scale of his crimes was almost beyond comprehension. Harold Shipman, the trusted doctor, was now known as the most prolific serial killer in British history. His name became synonymous with betrayal and death, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most respected individuals. What lasting impact has the case of Harold Shipman left? As we delve into the aftermath of the Shipman saga, it's clear that his crimes have left an indelible mark on the medical profession and the public's perception of it. The Shipman case prompted a seismic shift in medical practice in the UK. In the wake of the shocking revelations, the government implemented stricter controls on drugs, particularly diamorphine, the potent opiate Shipman used to carry out his heinous acts. The ability for a single practitioner to have unquestioned access to such lethal substances was seen as a glaring loophole, one that had to be closed swiftly to prevent a recurrence of such a tragedy. Simultaneously, the medical community introduced greater scrutiny on patient deaths. The Shipman case exposed the unsettling ease with which a doctor could fabricate causes of death, leading to the introduction of more rigorous checks and balances. Autopsies became more commonplace, and multiple professionals were required to sign off on death certificates, adding an extra layer of security and oversight. However, the legacy of Harold Shipman extends beyond these practical changes. His crime sparked a nationwide debate about how he was able to kill so many without detection. How could a trusted doctor, a pillar of the community, perpetrate such atrocities under the radar? The answers are complex and multifaceted, encompassing societal trust in medical professionals, systemic failures in regulation, and Shipman's own cunning manipulation. What's more, the Shipman case serves as a stark reminder of the power and trust we invest in our healthcare providers. It's a chilling testament to the potential for abuse within such a system that, for the most part, operates on good faith. It forces us to question and scrutinize, to never take for granted the trust we place in those sworn to do no harm. So what lasting impact has the case of Harold Shipman left? It's a question that resonates deeply, prompting introspection, vigilance, and a commitment to ensuring such a betrayal of trust never happens again. The case of Harold Shipman serves as a chilling reminder of the trust we place in those sworn to do no harm.